The greater adjutant is the largest flying bird in the world, but despite its size, it's still often overlooked. So today we're going to be telling you everything you need to know about these majestic birds. Hi, I'm your host and you're watching this channel. Today's episode is all about the greater adjutant, a large old world vulture found in South Asia. This bird holds the title for being the largest flying bird in the world with an impressive wingspan that can reach up to 3 meters. That's around 9.8 feet, which is just wild. To put that into perspective, that's almost as tall as Yao Ming, the tallest basketball player of all time. And if you stretched out their wings fully, they'd cover more than most doorways, despite their enormous size. Greater adjutants are actually quite graceful flyers, and they're able to soar through the skies with ease. But don't let their size fool you. These birds are not just big versions of your typical vultures. They have some unique adaptations that help them survive in their ecosystem. For example, they have a very diverse diet and they're not picky eaters. While many vultures will only eat dead animals, the greater adjutants will also consume live prey such as fish, reptiles, amphibians, and small mammals. They will also scavenge dead fish from rivers and sometimes even eat fruit. This adaptability allows them to thrive in a variety of habitats, including forests, grasslands, and even near human settlements. In terms of appearance, the greater adjutant is truly a sight to behold. They have a striking black body with a white head and neck. Their beak is massive and hooked, perfect for tearing apart carcasses, and their feathers are coarse and shaggy, giving them a somewhat disheveled look. The bird's legs are also strong and feathered, allowing them to stand upright on their tippy toes. When you see one of these birds walking on the ground, it's like seeing a giant monster bird taking its first steps after being frozen in ice for hundreds of years. It's like a scene straight out of a fantasy movie. As with many other bird species, the males and females of the greater adjutant species look similar to each other, so there is no real way to tell them apart unless you catch them in the act of mating. However, there's another type of adjutant, known as the lesser adjutant, and while they do share a common name, these two types of birds are actually classified separately. The main difference between them is, you guessed it, their size. Lesser adjutants are smaller and have a smaller wingspan, but they also have longer tails and shorter, darker beaks compared to their larger cousins. They're found in a slightly different range as well, mostly in Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent. When it comes to their lifespan, greater adjutants are known to live up to 40 years in the wild. That is quite a long time considering that many other bird species do. You untypically live much longer than 10 or 20 years. In captivity, with proper care and a steady supply of food, these birds can live even longer, sometimes reaching up to 60 years old. That means that a greater adjutant born today could potentially live to see the 22nd century. Now let's talk about something that many of you might be wondering. How heavy can these giants get? Well, it's not uncommon for greater adjuncts to reach weights of 7 kilograms, which is around 15 pounds. To give you a sense of scale, that's heavier than most dogs and some humans. But don't worry, they're not aggressive birds and they're not known to attack humans. Despite their size and strength, these birds are generally docile and prefer to stay away from humans. They're more likely to steal your lunch if you're not careful. Speaking of eating, greater adjutants have a fascinating way of finding food. They're known for their excellent sense of smell, which they use to locate carcasses from miles away. This is particularly useful in areas where people live, because it allows them to quickly find discarded meat and other food scraps. In fact, they're so good at sniffing out food that they're often seen hanging around slaughterhouses, garbage dumps, and even picnics. When it comes to reproduction, greater adjutants are pretty private. They typically mate for life and form strong bonds with their partners. Nesting season usually takes place between March and August, although it can vary depending on the region. During this time, The female will lay a single white egg that can be anywhere from 10 to 14 centimeters in length. Both parents will take turns incubating the egg and caring for the chick until it is ready to fly, which can take anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks. Once the baby adjutant is old enough, it will leave the nest and join its parents in their scavenging adventures. As you can imagine, raising a chick to adulthood isn't cheap, and for the greater adjutant, it costs roughly $5,000 in today's money. That's a lot of bird seed. Now, let's talk about their conservation status. As of now, greater adjuncts are considered near threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. This means that while they're not currently at risk of extinction, they may be headed in that direction without our help. One of the biggest threats they face is habitat loss due to deforestation and agricultural expansion. This not only reduces the amount of food available to them, but also destroys the nesting sites they rely on. Additionally, they're often persecuted by humans who view them as pests or competitors for food. This can lead to direct persecution by farmers or indirectly through the use of pesticides, which can poison the carcasses that the birds feed on. Climate change is also a major concern as it can alter the distribution of their food sources and make extreme weather events more frequent, which can disrupt their breeding cycles and destroy their nests. Finally, they can sometimes be caught in fishing nets and drowned. So what can we do to help protect these magnificent creatures? Well, one approach is to establish protected areas that preserve their natural habitat. This can help to ensure that they have the space they need to thrive and that their food sources are undestroyed. Another approach is to work with local communities to develop sustainable land. Use practices that take into account the needs of these birds. This can involve promoting agroforestry systems that integrate trees and shrubs into agricultural landscapes, which can provide both food and nesting sites for the birds. Education is also a critical component of any conservation effort. By raising awareness about the importance of greater adjuncts and the threats they face, we can foster a sense of stewardship among local communities and policymakers. This can help to reduce persecution and promote coexistence between humans and these birds. Finally, research is essential to fill knowledge gaps and inform effective conservation actions. By studying greater adjutants, we can learn more about their ecology and behavior, which can help us to identify critical habitats and develop targeted conservation strategies. Greater adjutants play an important role in their ecosystems, as they help to clean up dead animals and prevent the spread of disease. By protecting these birds, we're not only helping to conserve iconic species, but also preserving the health of the ecosystems they inhabit. If you enjoyed learning about the greater adjutant, be sure to stay tuned for more episodes. We cover all sorts of topics, from the tiniest insects to the largest whales. There's always something new to learn. If you want to support the channel, you can join our membership program. Your support helps us to keep producing engaging and informative videos. So thank you for watching and learning with us. Until next time, remember to keep an open mind and a curious heart. The world is full of wonders, and we're so glad to share them with you.